Cockmeat. You see what else is gonna change his name to Cockmeat Sandwich? Cockmeat. So when he's rogan dizzy, people can be like, focus Cockmeat Sandwich. Get the Cockmeat Sandwich! Everybody, get the Cockmeat!
Oh my god.
Hey everyone, DSDghost here, back with another 1.7 Division build video for you. Today we are going to go over Final Measure, and like always, I will go through my gear, and then I will show you a short PvP clip of me using the build in the Dark Zone. So let's get right into it. So here we have my Final Measure build. Now, this is what I think is the best form of Final Measure. Now obviously everyone's going to complain and say, oh, why aren't you using 2 Banshee, or why aren't you using 6-piece, or blah 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 blah. So let's go over why I'm using 3 Final Measure, 1 Tactician, a Vigorous Chest piece, and your Ninja Bike instead of your 6-piece Final Measure. Now, I did try out the 6-piece. I didn't really like it because, one, you don't get a overheal from a defib or a booster shot. I personally love running a Vigorous Chest piece, as pretty much everybody knows. All my builds have a Vigorous Chest piece, and the pros and cons of them outweigh, or the pros of them outweigh the cons, and vice versa. So basically what I'm trying to say is having a Vigorous Chest piece is what helps me survive longer. Being able to get an overheal from my teammates and myself from my booster shot or defib or things like that is really versatile. So that's why I choose the Vigorous Chest piece. Now with the 6-piece, obviously you don't get that, you can't use the overdose, or you don't get the overheal from or booster shot or a defib. Now if you look at the 5-piece of Final Measure, it's an additional 15% exotic damage resilience and an additional 15% protection from elites, which in my opinion, who the heck needs that? Seekers are no more. Rarely anybody's using anything else that causes exotic damage, so you don't really need that 5 set. Then you look at the 6 set, and this is pretty good. You know, if you get a grenade thrown at you, people throw grenades all the time. For 8 seconds you get some kind of bonus, but you have to be ready aiming at the person. Being able to heal yourself with a booster shot or defib and heal your teammates with a booster shot or defib, I think outweighs the fact that you get a buff for 8 seconds. So that's why I choose to run my build this way. Now there's 2 different versions of this setup right here. You can do a DPS. Now when I say DPS, don't think about the number 300,000 at the top right there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my damage per second, my pure damage per second. You can do a high damage per second build like this one, or you can have everything rolled to skill power and electronics and have a really high skill power Final Measure. So you can either do a damage Final Measure or a healer Final Measure. Those are the 2 Final Measures I run. I run both. I personally think that this build setup is the best Final Measure. So what I mean by that, this is my damage Final Measure. Then if I want to run my healer, instead of firearms, I'll have electronics, and electronics. So really, the build stays exactly the same. You just change all your firearms pieces to electronics, and then you just run a defib and flame turret for some crowd control or an immunizer, and now your damage Final Measure has turned into your healer Final Measure. So I like that because if we need a healer, I just swap my pieces, which I have double of each piece. So I have 2 Final Measure masks, knee pads, and gloves. So I just swap those out for my electronics ones, and now I'm a healer. And then you just change your weapon to be your healer, which I'll go over once I go over my weapons. But that's how you run the gear. You don't, obviously I have classified gear for my final measure here. You don't need classified. So that's a good thing about this build. You don't need classified gear. You can use regular gear, you know, the regular final measure pieces. But I like to use the classified because it gives you, you know, higher stats. So let's look at my gear. My chest piece is always a Vigorous Chest piece, rolled electronics with health, skill, haste, and ammo capacity. Obviously, we're going to go for max skill haste. We're going to go for health on your gear, ammo capacity, and crit chance. Okay, so because I'm going to be running the damage version of it, you're going for crit chance, health, skill, haste, and ammo capacity. My two mods on here are both electronics mods with skill haste. My mask is a final measure mask, rolled firearms with crit chance and increased kill XP. Obviously, you want burn resistance on here as your minor attribute, but I had to roll firearms and crit chance, so that's what I got on here. And then I have a stamina mod with skill haste. My knee pad is a final measure classified knee pad with firearms and health with disrupt, bleed, and burn. Obviously, I'd rather trade bleed for shock, so I'd want disrupt, shock, and burn, but this is what I got. And then I have a stamina mod with skill haste and a first aid self-heal mod. My Ninja Bike backpack is rolled electronics with health and ammo capacity with electronics mod, roll skill haste, and 2 first aid self-heal mods. Now, because I changed my loadout, one of these mods is wrong, which is one of my stamina mods. One of my stamina mods would be rolled health instead of skill haste. The reason why is because I'm currently 3% over max. So max skill haste is 50%. Because when I changed my loadout, some of the mods keep getting flipped. So change one of those mods that's skill haste to health. So stamina. So you're gonna have 2 electronics mods skill haste. You're gonna have a stamina mod skill haste, and you're gonna have a stamina mod health, and then an electronics mod skill haste. Alright, let's keep going. Then I have a final measure glove with SMG, crit chance, and skill haste. You can swap out the SMG damage for crit damage. That way you're gonna be maximizing your crit damage. And then I have my holster, which is a Tactician holster, everything in 1200s with skill haste and a first aid self-heal mod. Now, if I was to run this as a healer, everything would stay the same. Instead of the stamina, I would just have, instead of the stamina, I would have all electronics mods, one of them being health. And, well, I'd probably, it's going to be all electronics mods over here, and then 1 firearms mod to unlock your talents on your primary weapon. 1 firearms mod with health. Everything else rolled towards skill power, health, and skill haste. And then roll all your gear pieces to electronics, and that's what you would use to be a healer. Let's go look at my weapons. My primary weapon is an MP5, 17.7k damage, 20% crit chance with adept, responsive, and deadly. My weapon mods and attachments are mag size, reload speed, rate of fire, crit damage, headshot, and crit chance, crit damage, crit chance, and headshot, crit damage, stability, reload speed. So as you can see from here, like always, all of my weapon attachments are rolled to crit damage as the primary, and then crit chance and headshot damage. My secondary weapon is a lightweight M4, 18.5k damage. Now some people are saying, but the lightweight does more damage, blah blah blah, why wait and use that as your primary? I like the MP5. I like using SMGs because of the crit. If you look at my PvP clips, you'll see that all I'm hitting are crits most of the time, and obviously hitting crits does more than hitting a regular base. So I like using my MP5 because, or any SMG for that matter, because you hit more crits, which means you're doing more damage per second. My secondary, which is this lightweight, has determined, accurate, and skilled. Obviously everybody knows Well, if you don't know, Determined and Skilled are both helping your super come back quicker. So I'll swap to this, pop a couple NPCs in the head, kill a couple, and get my super back real quick for my team. That's why I use this as my secondary. Weapon attachments, mag size, crit chance, rate of fire, crit damage, crit chance, headshot damage, stability. I have one stability attachment on here, which is my muzzle stability, headshot, optimal range. And then I have a large underbarrel, crit damage, real speed, stability. Now, if I was going to be running this as my healer, I have a... Where are you? Right here. This is what I would use if I was running my healer. 17.8k damage, obviously a little lower because it's going to be all electronics, but it has talented, competent, responsive in the last slot. And then I would keep all my mods the same, weapon attachments the same, but I would use this, talented, competent, responsive. And then I would have my secondary the same to get my super back quicker. Into my skills, I'm running a booster shot, which does 106k self heal, and then I have an immunizer for that extra heal, and you know, to make sure I don't get shocked or anything like that. My talents, I have triage because I was running as a team, critical save, combat medic, and strike back. If I was running solo, I would take off triage and combat medic and put on precision and on the move. So precision's right here, headshot a hostile, repulse them, and then on the move, because as you kill people, you get that extra buff since you're not getting, you know, any help from a teammate. Now we'll go look at my crit chance and such. So critical hit chance is 35%. Then you have the additional 7. And then you have a pulse from your teammate. So you're hitting almost max. You're in like the high 50s after all is said and done with your crit chance, which means the majority of your shots are going to be crits, which is exactly what you're going for. Then we go and look at my skill haste, and right here it's 50%. So you're running a max skill haste to get your skills back quicker. So you're constantly healing yourself, and so on and so forth. And then obviously the build will look pretty much exactly the same when you're running as a healer, except for the crit chance. It'll be a little lower because you're not going to have crit chance on your mass. You're going to have skill power on there. And that is my final measure build. So guys, as always, if you have any questions or comments or concerns or anything that you want to ask, go ahead and leave a comment below in the comment section. And if you have any build requests, go ahead and leave those as well. If you liked the video, go ahead and throw it a like. Don't forget to like sub so you can catch me using this build on my live streams. And then stick around for the PvP clip of me using this in the Dark Zone right after this. Thanks guys, and have a great rest of your day.
Doodle.
Down.
He's down too. The guy at the door is down too.
Is about to be down. Be down. Another guy I've been trying to kill.
Absolutely.
He's also not down here. That guy's gotta go. He's going down.
Good shit, bro. Yeah, catch the smell, bro. Good shit. Good shit. What's up, Jason? What's up, bitch?
You're not picking up your friend, you fucking dirtbag! Go behind you, boss. Got it.
Oh my god.
Oh, on the floor.
Loud, man. I swear I'm not taking damage and then I'm dead. So I'm here.
one. I'm not a medic.
He's dead. Oh my god.
Man, I swear I'm getting.
Ah.
What the hell?
Fucking scrubs.
Hey, welcome back to the server. We're gonna keep getting your ass kicked now.